Hello everyone and welcome to Big Blue News. I'm your host Paul.
And I'm Andy. Let's get right into the news.
On Saturday, May 3rd, the SHS esports team, the Swampscott Mashers, competed at Fisher College in the Play vs. States Championship for the end of their playoffs. This season has been tough, especially since a quarter of last year's team graduated, but they were able to persevere. The Mashers have competed against 50 high schools across Massachusetts this season in the game Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. The team fought extremely hard with their captain, Ashton Ouellette, having an 80% win rate throughout the regular season. In playoffs, with the Mashers only losing to 2 teams in the regular season. With this success, the Mashers were able to qualify for the playoffs, where they went undefeated. They fought it in the semifinals against the Wolverine Whites, making it to the finals where they got second place. This was the 4th year in a row where the Mashers have either won states or finalized in the state championships. We congratulate Ashton Ouellette, Darlie Hoha, Eric Erdkamp, Omar Brito, and Xavier Tejeda on their amazing season and wish them the best of luck for next year.
At last Wednesday's Select Board meeting, Tivana Moore of the Town Administrator Search Committee gave an update on the plan for hiring the next town administrator. The town is asking residents to fill out a survey to give their opinions on what they're looking for in the next town administrator.
So our very next step is to engage the community in an online survey to give our residents input in this process. It will generally cover 3 things. 1, what characteristics our community members are looking for in our next town administrator. 2, which issues our community members would like our town administrator to focus on most. And 3, generally what our community members would like our committee to keep in mind while we go through this process.
The survey can be found on the town website, swampscottma.gov, and survey responses are due on June 9th.
On Wednesday, April 30th, the long-awaited rare earth mineral deal was signed between President Trump and President Zelensky. The deal was first proposed back in mid-February, with the deal being unfavorable towards Ukraine. Ukraine originally was unsure about the deal, but would eventually reject it, resulting in tensions between President Trump and Zelensky, which culminated in the messy meeting in the Oval Office on February 28th and a pause on U.S. aid to Ukraine. This continued until April 30th when the 2 presidents finally agreed on the deal. The deal gives the U.S. access to various rare earth minerals and other minerals and fuels, including oil, gold, natural gas, and copper. The deal also included other minerals that the U.S. described as critical, like uranium, lithium, and titanium. President Trump has been working with President Zelensky and President Putin for a deal that would ultimately end the war.
Recently, there's been a dangerous TikTok challenge where students would put lead caps, paper clips, and pushpins into the charging ports or USB ports on their school-issued Chromebooks. This would make the computer smoke and catch fire, and has prompted an evacuation at a public school in Connecticut, as well as at Marblehead High School. The superintendent of Swampscott Schools, Ms. Angelakis, states that our district's Chromebook insurance policy does not cover malicious damage. Consequently, your family may be responsible for the cost of replacing a damaged device. Our priority is the safety of all of our students, and we want to prevent any potential harm.
And now we will cut to Cecily at the entertainment desk for a review of the 2025 Met Gala.
On May 5th, 2025, fashion designer Anna Windsor hosted the Met Gala at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. The event's theme was Superfine, Tailoring Black Style, based on the museum's name. This style focuses on the history and importance of Black dandyism. It is a cultural movement where Black individuals use their style to express themselves and challenge social stereotypes inspired by menswear. Many stars walk the blue carpet to show off their fashion sense and spin on European dandy. Now, we will present some of our class's favorite looks. Starting with the one and only Rihanna, Rihanna's look was designed and inspired by Marc Jacobs. She wore a wool Spencer jacket, a gray striped corset, a black pinstripe skirt, and a custom Stephen Jones black hat. Her look was put together by her unique jewelry from Vendura and Belle Perrone. The corset she wore revealed her baby bump, which led her to announce a 3rd baby on the way within her family. Second, the actor Keith Powers debuted at the gala in high-waisted gray checkered trousers, a cropped black jacket, a striped collared shirt, and a black and white polka dot tie. He partnered with the brand Boss to create this remarkable look. His outfit was tied together with silver earrings and rings. Third, rapper Nicki Minaj arrived at the Met Gala in an outfit customized by Tom Brown. She wore a pinstripe dress with fabric flowers attached to her right shoulder, flowing down her back. Her hair was in a curly updo held together by a gold headpiece. She accessorized her look with diamond jewelry by Summer Halame. Fourth, rapper A$AP Rocky embraced this year's theme with a custom AWGE design. His look featured a tailored black vest over a white shirt paired with black slacks and a tie, a Marmot-inspired parka, AWGE, and Louis Vuitton Oxford shoes, and dazzling Bulgari jewelry. He had his hair styled in intricate finger-waved cornrows. And lastly, singer Jennie Kim appeared in a black tuxedo gown that featured off-the-shoulder accents from Chanel. The statement pieces were large pearls swayed onto the dress. To complete the look, she wore a classic black hat and white hat and a bow bun. She accessorized this outfit with Chanel high jewelry like an 18K white gold and diamond ring on her hand. That's it for looks. We like this theme, can't wait to see what next year has in store. Back to the news desk with Andy.
After a long and dreadful month of delays in shuttle trains taking place for the MBTA's Red Line, a long debate over where to spend the state's budget on transportation could ultimately affect the passengers' ride. An argument about what to do with the state's $1.3 billion transportation and education budget has raised questions about where to spend the money. A proposal from Senate Democrats shows that $370 million would be spent as revenue on the MBTA, much less than the $793 million plan anticipated by the House Democrats. That would be sent to the T. However, the House's vision has $353 million for education and $828 million set aside to spend on transportation. This debate of where to spend the $1.3 billion on transportation and education of Massachusetts' total budget of $62 billion may cause some disagreements between the House and Senate.
Ms. Angelakis, the superintendent of Swampscott Public Schools, is retiring at the end of the school year after 11 years as superintendent and 35 years working in the district. Mr. Kalishman will become the next superintendent starting on July 1st of this year. Luke Sirianni is with Ms. Angelakis live on set.
Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Ms. Angelakis, for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
My first question is, how did you begin working with Swampscott Public Schools?
So I graduated college, Salem State College, with a teaching degree, and I was applying for teaching positions. But back in the day, at that time, there were probably 300 applicants for every teaching position. And so it was really hard as somebody straight out of college to get a teaching position. So I applied for a paraprofessional position here in Swampscott, and I actually started, they call them now ESPs, as an ESP in the elementary school at Clark School for about 6 months, and then I became a teacher.
Okay. Second question is, how do you decide that you wanted to become superintendent?
Well, I didn't really decide. Obviously I did at some point, but when I was principal and then I became assistant superintendent, I really didn't like the direction the district was going in. I felt like we had no vision, we had no mission. We were kind of flailing and not having a direction or a leader. And I felt like with my experience as a principal, then as assistant superintendent, I was going to take a shot and see if I could right the ship and point us in the right direction. And I hope, I like to think that I've done that over the last 11 years.
Okay. What was the typical day like in Swampscott for you?
I want to laugh. There is no typical day as superintendent. I wake up in the morning and think these are the things I'm going to do. I'm going to get into the classrooms. I'm going to visit with kids. I'm going to visit with teachers. And I usually get into my office between 6:30 and 7 o'clock in the morning. And I can come into some kind of emergency, some kind of communication that has to be done, some kind of committee that needs my feedback. And so every day is different. And when I first became superintendent, coming from the classroom, you have a plan book and you have lessons you're going to do. I was very uncomfortable not knowing what the day was going to bring. And you have to get used to that every day is going to be different. Every day something could happen that derails what your plans were, and you almost have to embrace it. And that made me really uncomfortable because I like to control things. Yeah. And so over the years, I've learned to accept that you just go in and expect the unexpected.
Okay. 2 more questions. What are some achievements that you are proud of completing here?
So coming from the elementary school, I think there were people that were concerned that I wouldn't be able to lead a district K to 12. But what that elementary school experience gave me was really understanding the social emotional needs of our kids. And so when I became superintendent, we really focused on the whole child, they call it, the social emotional well-being of the little kids. And what I'm really proud about over the years is that we developed a mission that we care about the social emotional well-being of middle schoolers, of high schoolers. It doesn't matter how old they are. Nobody's going to do well academically if they're not feeling great social emotionally. I'm proud of that. I'm super proud that this community helped build the new elementary school. And I'm proud of the National Blue Ribbon honor that we got here at the high school in 2018. So a lot of things, as I reflect on my tenure, I hope I've left some good things behind.
Yeah, lots of good things. Anything else you would like to say to the families, students, and staff of Swampscott?
Well, I'd like to thank the community for trusting me. I'd like to thank the school committee for trusting me and taking a chance on me to be the superintendent. I would like to thank the community for their support over the years. You know, we haven't, not everybody can agree with the decisions you make as superintendent, but also not everybody has the information you have as you're making decisions. So I want to thank the community and the parents and the families for trusting me to lead this district for so many years and trusting me with their children, which we all know is one of our most precious resources.
Thank you for taking your time to be here today.
Thank you for having me. It's been an honor.
Back to Paul.
And now we'll have a story produced by Riley Johnson about open campus privileges at Swampscott High School.
Swampscott High School currently offers open campus to seniors. We polled students to see how they would feel about juniors getting the open campus privilege too.
Most of us have our licenses, so it's kind of unfair that we have to stay in the building while seniors get to go out. So that's my opinion.
I do think it should be available to juniors all year because we are upperclassmen and we tend to be a lot more mature than all the other classes. And I feel like we deserve it, you know? We haven't done anything wrong.
Especially on days if you can't. So I would think juniors deserve it just because they shouldn't be, they shouldn't have consequences for something that wasn't their fault.
I feel like that we should have like a short period of time to sort of prove ourselves. Like we get like a trial one of open campus.
It would be wonderful if Swampscott High School could take the students' ideas into account for open campus in the future. This is Riley Johnson reporting for Big Blue News.
And now we'll cut to the sports desk with Nikhilin.
The boys lacrosse team went into the week with a record of 7-7. They took on Salem for senior night, where they won with a blowout score of 22-4, with Joey Pulot scoring in the final minutes. They also played Beverly, also winning that game with a score of 12-10. The boys bounced back to a record of 9-7. They hope to move on and win out the season. We will now cut to an interview with Coach Beckett about the team and their progress this year.
It's been like a different kind of group this year because we had a lot of offensive guys coming back. So like the offense was kind of, we didn't have to like do anything new. We just had to keep rolling with what we had from last year. The defense was a lot of new players. We're lucky to get a lot of new seniors to come up and play. And I actually have 10 seniors this year, and I think 3 or 4 of them are new from last year. So it's been great to kind of get those guys involved. And yeah, so it's been good to get the defense kind of like, you know, almost starting from scratch. Right now we're 7-7, and which is kind of tough when you think about it. But like, I also look back at last year. We had a lot of wins last year, but a lot of those goals were 1-goal wins. And this year I feel like it's the other way around. We're losing those 1-goal games. But we've been tight competition with every game, which has been awesome. It's just like we ask for every year. We try to improve every single game. And then 2 big ones with Masco and Marblehead to finish out the season. So those 2 in particular are going to be a big challenge for the guys because those are, you know, really big schools and well-coached teams, and really kind of set us up going into the playoffs.
The girls lacrosse team is having an amazing year so far with a record of 12-3. They also had their senior night this week against Saugus with a big score of 18-1. They hope to win their season out and have a deep playoff run. The boys baseball team played Marblehead at Peabody, and Peabody at Fraser Field this week. The boys lost to both teams with the score for marble at 3-1 and PVD with the score of 2-1 in the extra inning. The girls softball team has a record of 7-6 even though they had a hard year due to weather. They're also trying to fight back into the playoffs. They look to advance their record on Monday against Masco. The Boston Globe recently released their All-Star Conference athletes. We congratulate the following Swampscott athletes for being nominated for the respective sports: Don Pappalardo, Anna Canders, Olivia Quagliarello, Sam Ward, Connor Sciarello, Teddy O'Neill, James Carey, Alejandro Haven, Mason Hinshaw, Liam O'Brien, Nikeelan Davis, George Hosking, Spencer Reams, Cece O'Connor, Olivia Barletta, and Johnny Pizarro. We now cut to an interview with some of these named athletes to get what they think about the award and the perspective on achieving it.
I'm just absolutely honored to be chosen by the NECs. I think I put in a lot of work these past few years, and I'm just really happy to be honored like this.
Well, my first thought was to tell my grandmother, because she's one of the people that always care about me when I get these awards. So I told my grandmother. She freaked out, said, "Oh my God, you're in the Boston Globe." But yeah, my first thing she did was tell like the entire family. My family got just like cool.
When I first heard about this, I kind of just brushed it off. In the end, after years of doing the sport, you kind of get used to having all these, not awards, but getting these recognition for being one of the more important people on the team, one of the most winningest people on the team, and just having your hard work shown through the papers and just time after time of it happening. It's something you kind of get used to in the end.
It feels amazing. I've been really dedicated to my athletics my whole life, and I've been working really hard, and it's awesome to see it pay off. It's a great feeling.
I definitely think this award was an amazing award because track is not my primary sport, and I do it as like a side thing to get better and more athletic for other sports. But I definitely think it was something that is an amazing award to earn because not many people receive this. And
I'm very happy. I mean, I've been working very hard over the past couple of years, mainly for baseball, but it's also paid off for shot put, which I imagine I'm getting the award in. But yeah, I really like the grind. Really like working out, building myself, and working on myself.
I think that's really cool, and it's an honor to be chosen.
What do you think drives you the most to get to this spot?
I'd say my competitiveness. I just say like that inner drive that I have to compete and work against other athletes and other students and other peers. I think it's a really big part of my life.
Well, what drives me is mostly when when my mom passed. I really use that, and I use that in every match to drive me and win my matches. And also like when my family watches, I use that. That helps me drive. But yeah, it's also the fear, like Mason said, the fear of losing my varsity spot, because everybody out there is bigger and better. Always don't want to lose that spot.
If I was on your team, I'd also take that spot. So you always know there's someone better than you, but you also got to show out.
I think a lot of it comes from my family, especially my dad. I come from a family where we work really hard. If you're in something, you're in it 100%, and you're always going to give 100%. And so I'm very thankful that, he's taken the time to go hitting with me, and, we can work on stuff outside of practice. And I just have a lot of encouragement there. And it's a great feeling to succeed, and they want to harbor that feeling in me. And so I'm just very thankful that he would work with me, and I think that's where I get a lot of my drive from.
Well, so I'm going to play baseball at Rochester Institute of Technology, and I think just working on myself and really trying to achieve big goals, and yeah.
My brother and my dad really drive me because they both love basketball, and they inspire me to be the best I can be.
After a rough series, the Boston Celtics played against the New York Knicks, but went down 2-0 after losing both games in Boston, while blowing multiple 20-point leads. They won Game 3 dominantly to cut the lead to 2-1 in the series. However, this Monday, May 12, at the end of the Game 4, Jason Tatum suffered a torn Achilles tendon in his right leg. The Knicks took a commanding 3-1 lead in the series. On Tuesday, Jason Tatum had an MRI scan which revealed that Jason Tatum will miss the majority of the next season. He did have a successful surgery, and there's no timetable for his return. Following this injury, Game 5 took place on Wednesday, May 14th, an elimination game. The Celtics won in dominant fashion, winning 127 to 102. They face each other in the elimination game tonight at 8 o'clock for Game 6 away at Madison Square Garden. Carlo Ancelotti's move to coach Brazil opened the door for Xabi Alonso's return to Real Madrid. The Bernabeu buzzed with anticipation as the midfield legend took the reins. Initially, adapting to Alonso's tactical approach took time, but his clear vision and calm leadership gradually transformed the team. A fluid, possession-based style emerged, leading to a string of victories that reignited the Bernabeu's fervent spirit. Under Alonso's guidance, Real Madrid began a promising new chapter, building on past glories with a fresh, dynamic approach. That's all for sports. Back to you, Andy.
Thanks, Nikhilin. For our upcoming events, we have Touch a Truck fundraiser on Saturday, May 17th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Swampscott High School. Annual town meeting on Monday, May 19th through Wednesday, May 21st at 7 p.m. at Swampscott High School. Swampscott Middle School Chorus Concert on Thursday, May 22nd at 7 p.m. at Swampscott High School. SHS Senior Awards Night on Tuesday, May 27th at 6 p.m. at Swampscott High School. SHS Senior Prom on Wednesday, May 28th at 5:30 p.m. at Cruiseside Port in Gloucester. And SHS graduation on Friday, May 30th at 6 p.m. at Bloxage Field.
We were just notified that we broke our live viewership record today. Thank you for everyone that tuned in.
Make sure to like and subscribe.